So you've watched my video on how to clean your Nintendo carts. You've opened them up, cleaned the contacts, closed them back up, plugged them into your Nintendo system, turned on the power, and got a blinking screen. How frustrating is that? Well, if you've cleaned your games and you're still getting a blinking screen, it's probably time to change the 72-pin connector out of your Nintendo system. It's a pretty easy job, and I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. While we've got the Nintendo open, I'm going to show you a couple other things as well. I'm going to show you how to disable the lockout chip, how to change out your controller ports, and how to change your reset and power buttons out. Sometimes these will get damaged, broken, or cracked, or whatever. You want a new one in there. They're pretty easy to change, so I'll show you how to do it. While we go through this video, I'm also going to show you how to clean your system on the inside and the outside. This system's already been cleaned, so I'm not actually going to show myself cleaning it, but I'll show you where to wipe down, where the high build-up areas are, and the little nooks and crannies that you want to get in. So, let's get started. For this project, we're going to need a Phillips tip screwdriver. We're going to need a new 72-pin connector. These are pretty easy to find on eBay. You can get them for anywhere from $6 to $11. I've unwrapped mine just to make things a bit quicker. You'll need a cotton rag, some Windex, you'll want some Q-tips, you'll want some rubbing alcohol or some sort of cleaning material, copper cleaner, or I'll be using the same cleaning paste that I use for my games that I get from classicgamesource.com. You'll want a non-static rag, and you'll want your Nintendo system that needs to be fixed. To start, we're just going to turn the system over. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, so we're just going to unscrew those. Alright, and the top should just lift right off there, just like that. Now we're going to turn it over. You want to be careful not to lose any of these screws. Sometimes they'll just stick in here, so we're just going to pop them down, and we're going to keep them in this piece here. We're just going to move that off to the side. Alright, so this is what we've got now. Just going to turn it around. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 screws, so we're just going to take that off, and that'll lift the protective cover here off.
Be careful not to lose any of these screws, as you're going to need them all to put it back together.
Okay, so we've got the 7 screws. We're just going to set those to the side. We're going to just lift the cover off, and it should slide off. We're just going to set that aside as well. Alright, you've got your black game port here where your games sit in. You can see it pops up and down. It's got 6 screws in it, 3 on each side, 1, 2, 3, and the same on the other side. You'll notice that the middle one here is a silver screw. It's longer than the 2 gold screws, so you want to make sure you remember to put that back in the middle when you put it all back together. So we're just going to go ahead and take these 6 screws out. Alright, we're going to do the same on the other side here. Alright, now that we've got these 6 screws out, we've got 2 more. One is tucked right up in here, the other is tucked right in here. So we're just going to take our screwdriver and we're going to unscrew those. Now because they're tucked in there so deep, we don't really need to try and pull them out. They'll just come out when we lift the board out, and then we can pop them out from there. So loosen those up and then just lift the board right out. Then we're going to just take these screws out just so that we don't lose them anywhere. There we go. 1 and 2. So we're going to take those two and we're just going to set them aside. Alright. Now, this piece here should just slide right off. You should be able to slide it right off. It might take a bit. It's in there pretty tight. There we go. You should just be able to slide it forward. It should just pop right off. We're going to set that aside. We're going to turn this piece over. Alright, now you can see we've got another protective covering here. We're going to take that off. It's not necessary, but it makes it a bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and take that off. In order to do that, we have to unplug these 3 connections here, which should just pop right off. There we go. And these ones should just come right out. There we go. Alright. Now when you're putting them back together, remember that this short one, the controller port on the right, goes to the connector on the bottom here. The longer one, the controller port on the left, goes here, and of course the blue matches with the blue. So we're just going to go ahead and lift that right off and set that aside. Now we're going to take this piece here, we're just going to set that aside, and this is what we're going to work with for the moment. So as you can see, now that we've taken off most everything, there's not a whole lot left on here. This is your 72 pin connector here, so we're just going to go ahead and pull that off, and it should just come off with a bit of a tug. You can see there's another row of contacts here on both sides. We're going to go ahead and clean those. You can use rubbing alcohol, copper cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and use the cleaning paste that I use on the games. So I'm just going to put some paste on there now, and just going to coat it in that. And as you can see, there's already a fair amount of dirt coming off just by putting the paste on there. So we should get a good amount of that dirt off once we've finished the clean. We're just going to coat that real well. A bit more back over here. Alright, we're just going to set that aside and let that dry. I'd like to show you a couple more things here. This is the bottom of our Nintendo system, and as you can see, you've got your 2 controller ports here. This is your power switch, this is your reset switch. Now, it's not very often that something goes wrong with your controller ports, but as you can see, they are pretty small openings in here. They can get dirty, something can get jammed in there and disrupt the controller signal. You can also see how small these wires are. Sometimes they'll get pinched or snapped or broken. And if that happens, you'll need to switch out your controller port for a new one. It's a pretty easy job. All you have to do is turn over the bottom here. This is the outside, and you can see there's these 2 screws right here. So we're just going to unscrew those real quick. And we're just going to set them aside. Alright, now this whole black piece should just pop right off, just like that. And your controller ports just pop right out, just like that. Now the only thing that's left here is the start and select button, and again, not a whole lot ever goes wrong with these, but sometimes the buttons themselves will crack or break. Sometimes, you know, you're walking through the living room, you stub your toe on this thing, and you know, you've cracked your power button or broke it off. That's a pretty easy switch as well. There's just 1 and 2 screws in there, so you just have to hold back the wires and you know, unscrew that one there. And that should just come out, and then unscrew this one here as well. And then this should just lift right off, pop out just like that. Now you don't want to lose these 2 screws, so we're just gonna try and fish that one out of there. There we go. Set those aside. Now that you've got this out, these should just pop right off, and you can just push a new one on there, and you got a brand new power button or reset button or whatever's happened there. So we're just going to set that aside because we'll give that a quick clean as well. And we're going to take this, we're going to set this aside, and we're going to go back to our motherboard.